Howdy, everyone. So real quick, I just wanted to kind of demonstrate what I was just talking about. So this is the heavy paper. You can see I've got it taped down on the forward edge all the way around. I've got my screw holes located using the Phillips screwdriver, like I said, just to poke holes into the screws. And then I went ahead, just using my fingernail, I went ahead and basically scribed the seam between the canopy and the rear window. Because this obviously is way bigger than it needs to be, I can cut this back edge back quite a bit so that the overhang across the rear window is not that much. If this is the seam here, I only need like just enough of an overlap to cover up the roll bar that's underneath. So if this is the seam to cover up the roll bar, let's just say I come back an inch, that would be about right here. So all of this back behind my thumb, this can all get cut off. And like I had said, this is nice and wide, so if there are potential edge distance issues with any of these screw holes, I can shift this whole thing forward a little bit and still have enough material in the back to cut it off and make it thinner. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. I'm just trying to get the whole locations figured out and then figure out how I'm going to shape this template before I lay it down on the aluminum and cut it out for real. So moving on. Howdy, everyone. All right, so let me think. Obviously, the canopy is on, and the rear window is now on, and I am moving on to taping this front edge here of the windscreen, so where the canopy comes down and meets the frame skin here. If you remember a few videos back when I had initially put the canopy in place, I had put some of the fuel tank sealant between this skin and the canopy just to give it something to attach to. Now I'm going to go back with more fuel tank sealant and I'm going to create a small fillet between this skin and the canopy. Now, you can use little clips to help hold the windscreen in place. I'm choosing not to go that route. The reason is because as long as there is some kind of an aerodynamic fairing of some sort, I don't see how any air or wind can get up underneath there to lift the canopy out of place. Even if it could, I'm not so sure that it would go very far. I'm just theorizing here. I don't have any concrete evidence to the contrary, obviously. But my thought is that I've got this entire front edge of the canopy already adhered to the canopy skin with fuel tank sealant. Now I'm adding another heavier layer to create the fillet, which will go basically on top of the canopy and on top of the skin. So I'm confident that that will work. I'm confident that it will hold up over time. But as always, only time will tell. So again, plenty of ways to skin a cat. This is just the way that I've chosen to do it. So I've went ahead and I've got everything taped off. I'm going to put my fuel tank sealer in there. I've got a modified squeegee type of thing that I've cut to a basic shape, and I'm going to use this, to lay out the fuel tank sealant, give it a few minutes to set up, probably like, I don't know. Let me see. It is currently, it's almost 4:30 in the afternoon. Depending on, let's say if I get this done by 5, maybe I'll let it sit to about 6 or so, and I'm going to peel the tape off because I don't want the fuel tank sealant to dry to the point where pulling the tape off becomes difficult. So mix it up, put it on, lay it out, let it cure a little bit, remove the tape, and then it will sit for quite a while because the next step is I'm going to paint this entire frame. So this fuel tank sealant needs to be nice and dry. I got to get my Targa strip made because that is also going to be held in place with some fuel tank sealant. And then this entire frame, including the Targa strip along the back. And I'm actually going to do a little bit of painting, I think. I'm not sure. I might do some painting on the fuselage as well. So this has got to set up completely. The Targa strip's got to be installed, and then I'm going to paint the frame. First up, fuel tank sealant. Talk to you later. Howdy everyone. Alright, so there is the fuel tank sealant filler. Of course, you may know if you've dealt with this before that as it sits, it flows a little bit after it sits for a little while. So this will probably continue to level out. But it came out alright. I really don't have any real complaints. There are some areas where you can still see the edge of the canopy itself. But I'm not too worried about that. I'm mostly concerned about getting the fuel tank sealant in, under, and around the edge of the canopy itself. But I'm going to let this dry. Like I said, I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then I'll pull the tape off and see what it looks like. Worst case scenario, I'll have to come back, retape it a little bit higher on the window and retape it a little bit lower on the cowling and put another layer on. But I'm going to leave this like it is for now, let it dry and see how it goes. So that's that. I'll take some more video when the tape is completely removed. We'll see how it looks. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to making the rear strip for around here. All right, talk to you guys soon.